What is up, my friends? Welcome to a new video. I know it's been a while since I've been on video, so I figured, hey, I'll show my pretty mug. And we're going to catch up on some things. So we're going to catch up on mostly the elections, give you my thoughts and opinions, and just kind of, it's not over with. And I want to give you my thoughts and opinions on this. A lot of people have asked me to cover this. I've covered it extensively in the premium newsletter, but if you're not in that because you haven't paid me any money, well, then you don't know. You have no clue. So we're going to catch up on the election stuff and just kind of give you my thoughts on where I think things are at and the state of things. Yeah, I went like a 2-week window without doing videos because at the old location, the audio splitter apparently went bad. I didn't really know it, and I didn't care because I knew I was going to be traveling. Travel got fairly situated, waiting on some more equipment to show up, but fairly situated for now, and feeling good back in the extreme heat, which I went from super high elevation to extreme heat. It's been insane, but I've dropped like another 5 pounds just since I've been back in a couple weeks, which is cool. And I'm feeling good, obviously health-wise, doing really, really good. Overall, like, it took a long time, took a lot longer than I thought. I talk about that often now. It's my kind of way to bitch and moan, but a year and a half to get my health back was absolutely retarded. And but I'm feeling really, really good now, strong. So we're going to talk about the election. So expect regular videos. If you like the idea, thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell notification, all that stupid YouTube algorithm bullshit. But I do want to get back into doing regular videos. So we're going to start breaking down different factors and different variables, because I think that there is a lot of big stuff coming. And I think it's going to be really important for you to have your hand on the pulse of this, just like I did with everything before. So let's get back rocking and rolling with some macroeconomic factors. And I can't think of any bigger economic factors than the election. And the second part of that, and the second phase to that, is this Great Reset. It's so interesting. Last year, I actually authored a PDF, which I might release for free now. It was only for paid members at the time, but it was called The Global Reset. And I was talking about how there was this narrative that I saw that the IMF and the BIS and all the globalists and stuff were talking about, which is, trying to reset everything. And for as much as people think that Trump is some kind of hero or savior in this whole situation, he might not be. You can't get so caught up in your bias that you think like he's here to save the world and they're going to save the kids from the child traffickers and he's a good guy and he's a genius and it's 4D chess. Maybe not. Okay, maybe they're all on the same team, and no matter what, you're going to get this weird progressivism that's basically socialism masked that we're seeing. Okay, and so anyways, let's dive into it. I've got a couple pieces to share, and so I don't really want to catch up on like the whole thing, because that would take years and terabytes of data to go through and to do it right, to document, and here's this and what they said, and here's what's true, and here's this and here's what's true. It's the people that are the biggest enemy of freedom and the American people right now. It's very easy to define that. It is the media, it is Hollywood, it is the blue check marks who will take a soundbite. And I'll show you an example of literally side by side, a correct story and a factual story, and then one that's incorrect. And just as much as the left takes a fake story, the right takes a fake story. Both sides are doing this, by the way. There is nobody innocent of this. Both sides will take their stories and their sound bites and spread it. And then it becomes, oh, look at these MAGA retards sharing something from 2018. Look at these idiots sharing something that's fake or old. And then the right does it to the left as well. Look at the left sharing this and saying that it's that. So keep in mind that like the people who've benefited the most, the people who have, even though a lot of them are losing money, the people who are benefiting the most in terms of attention and clicks are the news agencies, and all of them are garbage. Every single one, including Fox News, if you're a pro-Trumper. Yes, they've always been garbage. Good to see that, because they called the election early, what was it, on Georgia or something, that now you don't like them. Well, you should have never liked them, and you should have never put all your trust into one news network. Just like, don't you dare put all your trust into me. Why would you do that? You need to discern for yourself, and that's never been more important important than right now. So was this the most important election of our time? No, it's not. Don't fucking fool yourself, okay? You know, the election around World War II was way more important. There's so many other points in time when Abraham Lincoln was going into office and where the country stood at that point, way more important than right now. And so we can try and dress this up and doll it up and call it the most important election, but I'm just not seeing it. So anyways, I know it's kind of taboo to talk about like where you positioned yourself, and especially if you are a pro-Trump person. I don't really consider myself a pro-Trump guy. I like his attitude. I like his style. He is a don't quit, don't stop kind of guy. Before he ran for president, he was featured all over the place, like in the Inc. articles with the top 3 things successful people say to do in the morning and the one thing you need to do to succeed. Trump was featured in every single one of those articles. Why? Not because, it's partially because the media turned on him after he became president, but it's also because like this guy knows how to fucking win. He knows how to not quit until he's fucking dead, and that is just who he is. So does that have its upsides? Yes, it is insanely powerful for running business, starting a business, getting past the roadblocks and the barriers, and dealing with your family and your in-laws who don't respect you and don't care, and all the social conditioning and being broke and the defaults, right? It's amazing for that. It's not amazing for world peace. It's not amazing for, you know, maybe accepting an election result that you don't like. Now, granted, I do think there was fraud, and we'll get into that. I think there was probably fraud on both sides. I don't know what that's going to mean in terms of like where it ends up. I still don't think that puts a high likelihood of Trump winning, but yeah, I mean, I don't think that kind of attitude is really going to put a great taste in people's mouths after this is all said and done if Trump loses. Now, he will have his tens of thousands of loyal followers, and Trumpism is a real thing that's not going away. I think overall that's good because all those people will become better at business. They will become probably better husbands, more successful, because at the core root of, you know, who Trump is as an individual is, I think he is a good person. Knowing when to quit and giving up. I mean, there was a time when we celebrated and rallied behind this as entrepreneurs. You know, that was like, 3-4 years ago. Now it's just been completely destroyed. It doesn't mean that idea isn't good anymore, you know? So anyways, let's get into it. So I was pro-Trump going into this just because I'm looking at the likelihood and who they're going to pull out. I actually thought they were going to pull out Michelle Obama at the end, and that was going to be like their Hail Mary. But it looks like, you know, she'll probably get a cabinet position, just like Hillary Clinton's looking to get a cabinet position, as you saw when I first started. The U.S. ambassador, oh, fuck, the irony, dude. That'd be such an embarrassment for the country. But Trump versus Biden is like, I don't know, to me a no-brainer. It's been really interesting to see college-educated people who have always voted Democrat, their parents always voted Democrat. Bike in the background. One of the downsides of being back in Asia. Yep, there we go. You know, so a lot of these people, college educated, grew up in Democrat families, New York, Michigan, etc. You know, they're going to vote down the line Democrat. And I don't know, apparently a lot of people do think that Trump is the worst president on the planet. Like, this outrage that you see, whether it's amplified by the media or not, is in fact real sentiment. Now, one could argue that the media has made it worse, but this is beliefs that people do hold, which I think is almost laughable. It proves how fucking soft society has gotten. It proves how unmanly men have become, and just how everyone's feelings are hurt, and we need safe spaces, and you don't call anybody this, and this isn't respectful, and shut the fuck up. Yeah, I don't want to go into that, but it just proves that we're soft, okay? Soft like butter that's been sitting out in a fucking dish for 3-4 days now. And that is not a good thing. It's not a good thing with adversaries in countries who don't feel like that and who don't think that way, like China and Russia. And it's just not good for the future of a species to be that soft and to be that dependable and to be that entitled and that privileged. You want to talk about privilege? America itself is privilege. The things that, you know, like grab your Starbucks coffee, like I saw the lead singer of Coldplay or something the other day in a very distasteful video with his Starbucks coffee, shooting his video on his iPhone, complaining about Trump still, after their guy already won, Biden already won. So it's like, that is fucking privilege, you know? And the side note is measuring an economy and measuring success of an economy on how many Starbucks and Burger King and McDonald's on a fucking street corner is not a good metric. We need to change that. So for, you know, there is a lot of stuff that needs to be changed, but maybe in future videos we'll get into that. because I feel like I'm rambling now. So, yeah, I voted Trump. I actually put my money where my mouth was, and I bet on a sports betting site as well. Good position, and I won. I came out ahead. I'm not going to show it to you. I don't really have any desire to get clout by posting my positions, which is why I don't do it anymore. I don't make any videos about my positions because I don't give a fuck if you don't believe me. So if you don't, that's cool. You should have left a long time ago. Feel free to go. Bye. But yeah, I did, and it worked out good. I sold right when things peaked on day one, when the overwhelming count was putting Trump 10, 15 points ahead. I did sell off on that day because, I'm not an idiot. Since July, there was this theory floating around that one of three things was going to happen, is that Trump was going to win and just fucking blow the doors off Biden. And then the second one is that, they have changed these voting machines, and Democratic National Committee machine is going to cheat, and they're going to sway the vote overnight for Biden. And so that was a possibility. And so I didn't sit back on my laurels and just think, oh, I won and I'm fucking smart or something. I didn't. I don't care. I want to make money. So it's like, do you want to be right or do you want to make money? And in this case was the perfect example of that. I was not right, but I made money. And if I would have stuck around to be right, I would have lost all my money, because the sports betting sites all settled at zero for Trump now, that Fox News and the media have called the election, even though it's not callable at this point. I would have been liquidated. So, what the fuck? Then I would have had nothing. Just all in the ego fucking distraction to be right. So, no thank you, sir. I will take the fucking money and run. So yeah, that was nice. It was nice to, have a year and a half of research play out really, really well in my favor. And the scenario, one of the scenarios that I thought was going to happen did. And then the scenario that I thought, another possible scenario, is the one that's playing out right now. And the outcome of that, what I think may happen, is the following. Either they're going to come up with this fucking insane storyline that everywhere and everything was cheated, and this Dominion software, which we'll talk about in just a second, was in fact vulnerable, and it's going to be a giant shit show. This guy, who is a really good developer and coder, I think he's the guy behind 8chan and 4chan, which again is taboo in for the most part, but he went through the very public 300-page plus document on the Dominion voting system or whatever, and there's all kinds of very interesting things starting to come out about this, where some of the software is in Chinese based, and some of the people are from this country, and so I don't know. It's either going to be a giant shit show that destroys without a shadow of a doubt that there was voter fraud, or it's not going to really mean shit, which recounts in the past. You've got the Jeb Bush, Al Gore 2006. I think that swung like 130 or 140 votes. Historically, recounts don't do shit. So I don't really know where that leads. And honestly, I don't really care. But anyways, yeah, this guy, I think he was just on an Oanon video earlier today. I think they interviewed him with his findings, but he put a big long thread on, former Acon admin. Yeah, he resigned, so he quit. Yeah, I think he put a big thread on his wall, which again, for the weird kind of segregation we're seeing within even the crypto community of pro Biden versus pro Trump people, is it's like, a guy like this is being almost completely ignored when, I thought, autists were the fucking heroes in crypto, but apparently not, because if you're an autist and you like Trump, you're still a piece of shit apparently. But if you like Biden, then you're okay. So there's a whole lot of bias going on, a whole lot of cognitive dissonance, and the whole thing is just getting fucking annoying. And I can only imagine how this feels on the American people. But yeah, he's got threads and threads. Look at all this shit he's fucking been going through for the last 2-3 days. And he has found significant issues to the fact that now, not CNN, but Oanon, who's an up-and-coming victor in this whole thing from a news network standpoint, is featuring him. Because there is, there's a lot of questions, like the same master key being used, which means that any master key holder could make changes and make changes to the votes and the system itself without knowing it, because everyone's got the same key. There's very obvious questions, and anyone who knows anything about cybersecurity is just tearing this thing apart right now, which I think that, I would assume that would be what we're amplifying right now. It's there's some serious questions. And I think the message should be from both sides that, look, every legal vote should count. We should recount this. We should want to, satisfy the American public and have everyone feel confident and very good about this election. And we're not getting that. Here's a Kamala Harris take, one of many, which is this whole narrative of like the soul of the nation is broken. We're so fucked up. We're so fucking racist, which she ran on being Indian, then she ran on being black, and now we settled on the fucking black thing. She's got pronouns in her bio. So she's a fucking mess. She don't know which way is up. And is this better for the country or a disaster? I don't know. I guess fucking 4 years will tell. My estimate is that it's a fucking disaster because it's just propping up more confused, stupid people that, yeah, you should be confused about your gender too, and we support all this fucking dumb shit instead of just getting people mental health help that they need in these certain scenarios. But it also just adds a bunch of isms to the whole scenario. So there is no mention on any of their walls, Harris and Biden, of this healing the nation through, yes, we support these recounts. If it was me and I knew the historical data of how little effect recounts had, I would be pro recount anything you fucking want because we won, and there's no way you're going to take that away by adding in another couple hundred votes. And so I don't know, does that speak guilt? Does that mean that they all know that it's all fucked up and that they cheated? I don't know. And I don't care until there's proof, okay? So anyways, that happened. Oh, we're going to get into some real juicy stuff. But speaking of the left and how they immediately started acting, not even a day after the media announced that they had won and their guy won, is they acted like complete psychopaths, which this makes me more nervous. So again, for all the pro-Biden people who are like, they're just ignoring all this shit, like, open your fucking eyes, dude. It's not only that Donald Trump has to lose, his enablers have to lose. And how she says it is like, and everyone's just like, yeah. Everyone else on the fucking video screens are just like, yeah, of course. Like nodding along. We have to collectively burn down the Republican Party. We have to level them because if there are any survivors, they will do it again. What the fuck are you talking about? This is America where it's free to have ideas, where it's free to be different. Look at all these fucking retards shaking their head, yes. All puppets, yes. Yeah, nod. That's complicity. These two are the only two not nodding. Notice that? Everyone else nodded. A nod means complicity. Like if I nod to you saying something stupid and I don't call you out for saying something stupid, it means I agree with you. And therefore, a spread of horrible ideas is just occurred. Never a fact check, by the way, on any of these blue check marks. This is another sickening thing, is the big tech collusion here with the left. Couldn't be more obvious. Under every single Donald Trump post, there's a fucking fact check and nope, actually this has been debunked and you're wrong. But under shit like this where they're saying, yeah, all but kill people, that's completely fine. Let's look at an example. Let's see how ridiculous this could be. This is either going to work to my advantage or not. Oh my God, it works to my advantage. Official sources claim the election differently. Look. Almost under every single one. Of course, him golfing, no. Look at this. And the reshares, they're not going to do it under the reshares. Look at this. Bang, again. How many things on his wall were just like discredited by Twitter? This is your social media. I'm more scared of big tech. Big tech was the big winner out of this than I am of like the idiots like this saying these things. Which she's a complete psychopath. Go look at her wall. A very interesting little treat. AOC wasted no time in saying that we should be archiving Trump people who try to downplay or deny their complicity in the future. No fact check. No like, hey, this is a little crazy. No viewer discretion message, right? Like, oh, that one's deleted. Oh, that's interesting. This one here, I believe, was the guy saying, oh yes, the TrumpAccountability.net Act, which we'll talk about how funny that ended in just a second. But basically everyone responded. She didn't get ratioed too bad. Look at this amount of likes. That's crazy. That's crazy, guys. That's crazy. She didn't get ratioed too bad, but the Trump Accountability Project actually just shut down today because people fucking lost their minds, because what you're saying is to make a list. And any time in history, Stalin, Hitler, etc., when we've made a list, it usually ends pretty fucking bad. And the guys who just supposedly won should not be acting like this. So yes, this is a huge point of concern, and we should have gotten very loud, which a lot of people did, and said, what the fuck to these idiots, and gotten them to take this shit down and stop this before it goes any further. So kudos to them. Again, has the right ever done this to the left? Does the right run around and try and cancel everybody? No, that's the media, that's Hollywood, and that's these blue check marks that have consistently people that they don't like, people that offend them and, break and burst their shallow little bubbles are constantly under attack. They'll go after everything on you. They'll go after your web hosting, your domain names. They'll go after Cloudflare. They'll go after PayPal. They'll go after Stripe. They'll go after your bank. And they will fucking spew the most disgusting made up bullshit on you and call you a fascist and a racist and whatever else. And then they will pressure the company into just saying, well, fuck this. We're getting even if they get out 50 emails, 100 emails, 10 emails maybe, depending on the size of the company, they're just going to say, fuck this guy and delete the account. No backups, no nothing. Just now you're whitewashed off the internet. And, people used to not care about that because this is how it always starts. It started with Alex Jones and Laura Loomer, and everyone was like, good, yeah, fuck that guy. He's crazy anyways. Okay, well, now it's everybody. Before the election, they purged hundreds of millions of not fan pages, but the equivalency of followings. They purged all these fan pages and YouTube channels across the networks and Twitter accounts that accounted for millions and hundreds of millions of followers. All these accounts deleted, no strikes, no nothing, just poof, gone. I mean, so much so to where I think they're trying to get a class action lawsuit going. So again, that should make you nervous, and that should make left or right, we question this, okay? As fucking human beings, we question shit like this. And then the day of the election, coincidentally, Cloudflare pulled the trigger on BitChute and pulled down BitChute, which is the only competitor to YouTube. And people were going to go live and do live streams on BitChute, could not. And I think that's pretty interesting because Cloudflare is Democrat ran, and they've been playing games right and left during this whole last 4 years with pulling down sites and stopping protection. So then you can get DDoSed, which is a very easy way to take down a site. So, I mean, I hope you're starting to kind of see here. We're gonna get to this in another video. The Great Reset. The IMF talking about the Great Reset. Globalists talking about on the We Forum. Klaus Schwab talking about we're never going back to normal, okay? And that there's going to be rolling lockdowns at different points. It's going to be very, very, very interesting. Okay, so we covered him. Oh, yes, and for those of you who I've, both in the premium newsletter and on the free stuff, I've been parroting and screaming this from the rooftops, that what's coming next is mandatory vaccinations for travel. And there's 12 countries that are jumping in on some early testing of this concept, falling right in line with the social credit system in China. But here we go. We have just breaking today. Ticketmaster plans on checking your vaccination record before you can even go in. So you will have to have been vaccinated within a 24 to 72 hour window to even get in. And if these vaccinations are anything like the flu, they won't do fuck all, because the flu vaccination has been around for 80 years and hasn't done a fucking thing to curb it. 60 to 90,000 people a year die from the flu, which coincidentally all that data is gone for 2020, so I guess the flu just disappeared this year. All right, so we covered him. Yep, Hillary Clinton. Eric Schmidt is another potential. He's the ex-Google guy who's insane. He goes to, he believes in depopulation. He goes to the, the Bilderberg meetings every single year. Okay, we covered that. What's the last thing I wanted to cover? I'm going to pull from, two pieces that I'm going to pull from here, from the old Discord. Hope you don't mind, bear with me here. And this will sum up the reality of what's going on right now. And it's dangerous regardless. Like, I don't really have a dog in this race. My dog is sovereignty, and that's where I'm putting my focus now, that I see that regardless of really who wins, this progressiveness is going to keep going. So here's the best example I can point out is the Department of Homeland Security calls 2020 election the most secure in American history. It's actually a really weird article, which Axios has completely burned their credibility of a data provider. I used to go to these guys for data unpolitically, and they've just burned their rep over the last couple months. And this is interesting because, people are like literally pointing this out in the comments. But yeah, anyways, it's misdescribed. It's not the Department of Homeland Security. It is this 4-letter agency or group, which is like an international group. I don't even know. It's like ECCEG or something like that. You can read the article for yourself. It's not even the Department of Homeland Security actually making that statement. What's interesting is like what did happen, and look at all these shares, right? No fact check, okay? What did actually happen and break today, which is I don't like how the MAGA people do their shit when it's all caps and they're screaming at you and it's fucking patriot this and patriot that, but I get it. The FEC chairman, okay, Trey Trainer, this guy right here on video, the only one that would talk to him is Newsmax apparently, so he can't get on CNN or anywhere else because they don't want to play this guy. He believes voter fraud is taking place, and since the law is not being followed regarding election process, it is an illegitimate election. He believes without a shadow of a doubt that there is election fraud that is going on. This is the FEC chairman. So what are we going to listen to here? Watered down, not even Homeland Security fucking statement from an international group of never-Trumpers? Or are we going to listen to the FEC chairman? But you see how so all the right-wing people are taking this and they're going, see, I told you, for the millionth time. And all the left-wing guys are saying, these MAGA retards, these idiots, right? And that's what you got. That's how it's going to go. And we can't deny that they are huge hypocrites. And this is the funniest example I have of that. This blue check mark, I don't even know who this is. Who cares? Okay, don't give him any attention. Don't go follow him. Don't do anything. Okay, he's a loser. A bunch of selfish assholes in Virginia this evening. Nobody following. This is in May, so nobody's following the mask mandate. Nobody's following the social distance. But when Biden won and everyone was out in the streets singing YMCA as a troll, that was okay. That was completely fine, guys. And you see this over and over and over and over again. Now, if you were to point this out to this guy and say, hey, you're lying and you're full of shit, he would delete this tweet and say, no, you're lying. And he would probably be able to sue you for libel. And who knows? He might even win. But this guy would probably go out of his way to get the whole fucking mob on you, to cancel you, and shut down your entire life. That's how these people operate. There's no accountability. They are essentially bulletproof. They can say what they want and almost do what they want and get away with it. And so, some other interesting stuff you might want to read up on is Joe Biden's 2 sites, which, again, this battle for the soul of the nation, this is not his. Build Back Better is not his mantra. It's actually been used all over the place, and he's just regurgitating it as well. And read his gun violence stuff because interesting wording and linguistics in there. And then he also owns buildbackbetter.com, which for the people who voted for Biden and didn't realize he was all for immediate lockdowns, you should probably read into that. But he's also into creating and mobilizing at least 100,000 Americans for contact tracing, aka making each other's lives living hell and ratting each other out over somebody who's coughing, somebody who looked at you the wrong way, somebody who's maybe a Trump supporter. Because where's going to be the checks and balances in this? There's not going to be any. So it's basically going to turn into a finger-pointing fest of people who don't like each other, ratting out your neighbors, kind of like the license plate thing where the government said they would pay you to report each other's tabs, so nobody's riding around with expired tabs. It's probably like 1 or 2 steps above that. And contact tracing is, for as beneficial as they claim it might be, it's also it's an insane violation of fucking human rights and constitutional rights, especially in America. But you should probably read through these 2 sites. A lot of very interesting stuff in the COVID-19 page in terms of priorities and gun safety. If you didn't already know, Biden is planning on doing at least a 4 to 6 week lockdown. The media is all hailing this as a great idea. Once again, Cuomo is doing a lockdown on New York. They're hailing him as a genius, which he just wrote a book. He said he was going to knock out Trump if it wasn't for the guy helping him. So, of course, he's a national hero once again. And that's where we're at, is there is no clear outcome at this point. Everything has just gotten muddied down, more dramatic, more divided, more aggressive, and that's not going to go away. So the best thing that you can focus on, and the most important part of this video, even though hopefully you don't hear it, but there's a saw going in the background, is that you should be focusing on your own personal sovereignty. When the lockdowns come again and the mandatory vaccinations to be able to travel, connected to your passports, all start to be rolled out, you will be happy that you took the time to set up other residencies and other citizenships. Well, keep in mind that a lot of these programs are now being shut down. The Philippines just stopped one of their programs. Malaysia shut down their program. There's a lot of programs all over the world being shut down right now and reanalyzed, reassessed, reevaluated. Not only because there's a ton of Chinese nationals that were taking advantage of these programs worldwide because they got money, but also too because of COVID, etc. And they have to be more mindful now of who they bring in, and there's got to be a lot more paperwork and testing. So don't think that you're going to be able to wait till the last minute and go get citizenship, go and get residency, and then still not take a vaccine, especially because you're going to have to take vaccines out the fucking ass till, who knows, maybe limbs start falling off to actually pass this stuff. knowing, international travel and recently traveling internationally, the hysteria put around the PCR test and how much double checking and triple checking, and did he do it within a 7-day window? It was a big pain in the ass. The hardest part of traveling was keeping that fucking PCR test. I brought 3 copies of it because everyone wanted it and they wanted to make sure that it was legit. And everywhere you went, they're taking your temperature. And so, which I think is good overall. I think like taking a quick temperature check of people is probably not a bad thing, because again, like you might not even know that you're running a fever. So I mean, I don't know. I think that's more of like an educational thing for people to get more health conscious. But regardless, your sovereignty should be way more important than this stuff. And clearly what we've just seen is it's either going to go one way or the other, and the other side that loses is going to lose their freaking mind, and nobody's ever going to be happy with this shit. And so you might as well just dig your feet in the sand and either pick a tribal team or pick yourself, your legacy, your fucking bloodline's future, and go and deal with setting yourself up in a country that's maybe going to treat you better. I think that should be a more important focus for a lot of you. Now, a lot of people, American patriotism is important to you, and I'm not asking or telling you to change that at all. It's going to be based on the individual. But for a lot of you, it will be a case of, maybe we should go and set up something somewhere else and have a backup plan in case things start to get a little too crazy here, and we're not one of those people that are willing to go down that road of physical revolution, and so you would need other options, and that's what you want to be focused on. So that's all I got for you in the video. If you like it, hit the thumbs up, comment below. If you don't like it, thumbs down, that's cool too. And go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell notification. Be on the lookout. We'll be dropping more videos very soon, my friends. Okay, see ya.